EuroLeague has officially announced Chus Bueno as the new CEO of EuroLeague Basketball, replacing Paulius Motiejūnas that was in the charge since June 2023. On the surface, this looks like a standard executive transition. In reality, it takes place at a moment when the structure of elite European basketball is being quietly but fundamentally questioned. To understand why this appointment matters, we need to start with who Chus Bueno is and why his profile fits the moment EuroLeague is living. Bueno arrives with a background that sits at the intersection of leagues, venues, and media. He spent more than 13 years in NBA Europe, involved in league operations, commercial development, and institutional relationships across multiple markets. That experience matters because it gave him direct exposure to how the NBA approaches governance, expansion, and control outside the United States. After that, he moved to Legends, a company focused on venue monetization, premium hospitality, and revenue optimization for major sports properties. That stage of his career is less visible to fans but strategically important. It is about extracting value from infrastructure, audiences, and live events rather than managing competition. Most recently, Bueno worked at DAZN in Spain inside a media environment defined by fragmented rights, platform economics, and rapidly changing consumption habits. That puts him close to one of the most sensitive areas for European basketball today: media distribution and revenue sustainability. Taken together, this is not a random resume. It reflects the pressure EuroLeague is facing. EuroLeague, for those who doesn't know, is the top-tier club competition in Europe with a club-owned structure created to protect the commercial interests of elite teams through long-term licenses, centralized media rights, and calendar control. It operates independently from FIBA, even if that independence has generated permanent conflicts between the two entities. For more than 2 decades, EuroLeague has been the reference platform for European basketball, and under the previous CEO, Paulius Motiejūnas, the focus was consolidation. His tenure came after a long and centralized leadership period with Jordi Bertomeu and unfolded in a market context where we need to understand all the effects that the pandemic, the geopolitical uncertainty, and the financial pressure across many clubs was happening at that time. The priority for Motiejūnas was not transformation but stability. Keeping clubs aligned, protecting the existing model, and ensuring that competition remained operationally credible. That phase largely achieved its objective. EuroLeague today is structurally intact, but it is no longer operating in a closed environment, and that's why the change of the CEO and the appointment of Chus Bueno impacts. There is no NBA Europe League today, but there are rumors where we are starting to get to know what the plans of NBA in Europe are. What exists is, as I mentioned, a growing set of discussions involving the NBA and FIBA Europe about the possibility of creating a new top-tier basketball competition on the continent. These discussions are not new, but they have intensified. No formal structure has been announced, no calendar has been published, and no list of teams confirmed, but the idea itself is now firmly on the table. The important point is not what exists, but what is being discussed. The NBA, and to understand what they would be planning to do in Europe, they operate on a fundamentally different model from European basketball and the traditional model of the EuroLeague. It's a closed league, and here we can find some similarities with the EuroLeague model that was granting long-term licenses for the clubs already participating as founding clubs of the competition based on franchises rather than sporting merit. So here we can see how these two competitions were kind of similar. Teams are permanent members, revenues are centralized, the risk is shared, the system is designed to maximize long-term asset value and financial predictability. This is the model that the NBA and FIBA are also exploring, with the added value of their experience and the knowledge in fan engagement, event monetization, and activation. From the NBA's perspective, Europe is attractive because it already has basketball culture, large cities, global brands, and an existing fan base. From FIBA's perspective, alignment with NBA represents institutional relevance and a way to regain influence at the top to the end of the club game. European basketball is not built on open competitions, but there is a component on national leagues, promotion, relegation, and clubs with local deep identities. Any system that can create an interference with this model immediately creates winners and losers, which is why the conversations are as political as they are economic. Some clubs have recently renewed long-term licenses with EuroLeague. Almost every club participating in EuroLeague has now renewed the intention of participating in the competition for the next 10 years, even though some of them, as Football Club Barcelona, have mentioned that renewing with EuroLeague now doesn't mean they are closing doors for NBA. Meanwhile, other clubs such as Real Madrid and Asvel are keeping themselves open to the possibility of signing right now with NBA Europe. This renewal of long-term licensing with EuroLeague shows some clear commitment to the existing model, but these clubs have shown how they may change their ideas. So we have clubs now renewing with EuroLeague. We have other clubs that will keep continuing competing in EuroLeague, but they are listening to what the market is going to offer. This does not mean that they are about to leave, but it means that the landscape is no longer unified. EuroLeague today is operationally strong but politically exposed, and it must manage different incentives within its own membership, while an external alternative is being discussed, even if only at a concept level. This is the environment Chus Bueno steps into. His appointment is not about announcing change or responding publicly to rumors. It is about managing a period of coexistence between competing visions of how elite European basketball should be organized. On one side, there is EuroLeague's club-owned, license-based model, deeply embedded in European sporting culture. On the other, there is NBA's franchise-based logic, backed by capital, institutional power, and global media reach. Both models appeal to different stakeholders, and both now exist in the same conversation, and this is why leadership matters. The CEO of EuroLeague is not just an executive role, it's a political and strategic position. It requires credibility with clubs that want the stability, openness with clubs that want upside, and enough institutional strength to defend the league's relevance regardless of what happens externally. Chus Bueno background suggests that this is the mandate he is being given. He understands how the NBA thinks without being part of its decision-making structure. He understands how venues and commercial assets are monetized, and he understands the realities of modern sports media. This is not about copying the NBA, this is trying to fight NBA. It is about ensuring that EuroLeague is not structurally unprepared in a moment where alternative models are being discussed at the highest level. The transition from Motiejūnas to Bueno reflects that shift. In one phase that was about consolidation and defense, the next is about strategic positioning in a contested environment. This does not mean a rupture is imminent, but it does mean that European basketball is entering a phase where governance, capital, and control matter as much as sporting performance.